And we are live. Thank you very much for joining us, the Israel Trade Office, live on our social media platforms this morning. We are joined by Ari in South Africa from DryGair. Good morning, Ari.
Good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Oh, well, in our office, we're doing very well. I think generally we're all now adapting to our COVID restrictions lifestyle, which I think is a good thing. And guys, listening, Ari is with us today, joining from DryGair. DryGair is an agriculture tech company from Israel. Now, just to give it a bit of context, we've had quite a lot of cybersecurity, some ICT and different technology on this series of live intros on our social media platforms during COVID lockdown restrictions. We have agriculture tech. This is our first agriculture technology solution we're having as a live intro. And I want to explain that Israel has a few different nicknames that we've addressed on some other videos. We're the startup nation, we're the cyber nation, we're the automotive tech nation, we're also the agri-tech nation. And that is for similar reasons to the other nicknames. First of all, we have had to develop agriculture expertise as a matter of existential survival in Israel. Israel is a country with very, very few limited natural resources, and as a young 70-year-old state, or 71-year-old state now, we need to survive, and we've had to learn to grow crops with what we've got. We've had to learn to utilize water. We've had to learn to get the best yield out of what we can as possible, which is why Israel is famous and proud for growing strawberries and tomatoes in the desert. And we have a massive menu of different agriculture tech solutions. So I'm going to hand it over now to Ari. Ari, please tell us, who is DryGair? What do you do in agri-tech?
Just to go back to what you just said about producing tomatoes and vegetables in the desert. It's a very good reason why they want to produce it in the desert. Not only is there a lot of space to develop greenhouses and farms over there, but deserts are very dry. And when you consider the climate in the desert and being dry, it allows the plants to benefit from that kind of environment. When there's too much humidity in the air and humidity settles on the leaves and settles on the fruits, one would think that water is great for plants, but actually when you're cultivating at a high level and you need to produce a lot of yield, so you need to keep the air relatively dry and you need to keep moisture off the product in order for the product to grow in the best way, disease-free and with full vigor. Now, if you have too much humidity, the water droplets will settle on the plants, and that could be setting the stage for the development of pathogens, of botrytis, of all kinds of things that you don't want to grow on your plants. So when you use a DryGair system, basically it's a sophisticated refrigeration system which pulls as you can see on your screen, it pulls the humidity out the air and releases dry air into your greenhouse solutions. This is specifically designed for a greenhouse environment. It cannot be used.
DryGair, okay.
Yeah, so exactly, dry greenhouse air, DryGair. And it grows it's specifically used in a controlled environment, as you can see in the pictures, because it won't work outside open field. Otherwise, you'll dry out the whole universe with this technology. Just kidding. But every single system is designed specifically for the greenhouses that it's going into the types of crops that you're growing, be it vegetables, cannabis, and certain types of fruits. And it provides basically your perfect growing environment free of excess humidity to keep the plants growing at their optimum, to minimize disease on your product, and to actually save money in the dehumidification process, which is a very, very important part of DryGair. Basically, when you need to lower humidity in a greenhouse, you need to ventilate the greenhouse. So assuming that you have a high humidity level in the greenhouse because of the closed environment, because the plants are growing inside the greenhouse and giving off moisture, you will have a buildup of humidity. Now, in order to get that humidity out, you have to ventilate the greenhouse. So assuming that you are having a temperature-controlled greenhouse and you want the temperature of the greenhouse to stay at, let's say, 20, 22, 23 degrees, and it's a cold winter's day, and you need to ventilate now because your humidity is rising. So now you have to ventilate. So you turn on your ventilation fans and you expel the greenhouse air outside, and you bring in now cold air into your greenhouse. But in order for the plants to survive properly, you need to heat up that air. So you need to turn on your heating system to heat the air. What DryGair does is it says, listen, we need to dehumidify right now. The DryGair unit comes on. It starts to dehumidify using the existing air in the greenhouse. You don't have to take out the humid air and bring in new cold air, right? So, and then you have to heat up that air again. So what the DryGair unit does is it works inside the greenhouse. You don't have to bring in cold air into the greenhouse. It uses the air in the greenhouse. It cools it. It dehumidifies it. It produces the perfect environment for the plants inside the greenhouse without additional ventilation and heating costs. Okay, heating costs in greenhouses is the biggest money. You bury a lot of money in the heating of a greenhouse, and the DryGair unit basically takes care of the humidity and the heating costs at the same time, because you're not bringing in cold air into your greenhouse. A very, very good technology. The system in Europe pays itself off in about 1.5 years, just to saving energy costs. And we have a lot of clients now using it in South Africa for that very, very reason. When you've
got humidity control, you've got temperature control, it's increasing the yield. Supposedly you must have, quite a few different user cases for this solution. Can you tell me who's your audience, who are your customers, and who are you speaking to here?
We actually have been asked by some of our clients in South Africa not to mention the fact that they're using this technology, because they want to sort of keep it. They want to save it to themselves. So I'm not allowed to mention names, but what I can mention is there's very high-end nursery companies in South Africa that are using this technology to grow their young plants by drying out the air and using this system. They're saving a lot of money on the heating costs, and the system is enabling them to produce, especially coming out of the nighttime cycle, where the temperatures and the humidity in the greenhouse is building up right before the sun comes out. This unit is used. We've actually got that's the DG12 that you're seeing on the screen, but the DG13 is used in South Africa because of high temperature, and it sucks the moisture out of the air in the greenhouse, and it doesn't allow the moisture to settle on the leaves of the young plants, and this is a very, very important idea. We're working with some growers of cannabis growers in Lesotho, which experience a similar problem, that up until they started using our units, they had a lot of botrytis forming on the buds of the cannabis, which is the main part of the cannabis used for medical products, and that you can lose about 15 to 20% of your crop just because of certain botrytis that builds up on the buds of the cannabis, and it sort of infects them, and you can't use them, right? So by using a DryGair unit in the various stages of their growing, they are getting much more yield, which means much more money and much more produce that they can actually sell.
Well, that sounds fantastic. And
at the same time, very importantly, saving a lot of energy. So you're getting more crops, you're saving energy, more quality crops. So it's a win-win.
So you're getting more produce and you're getting fewer costs. It sounds like a fantastic solution. We're very glad to hear that you have key clients here in South Africa. We would like to encourage as well the people watching this video still. First of all, thank you. And second of all, please do reach out to us at the trade office, and also to Ari Zwick, who works for DryGair. That's drygair.com, as was up on the screen earlier. These are fantastic solutions which can save and grow agriculture markets enormously, and we really encourage you to do that. Ari, thank you very much for this bite-sized live intro, and we're looking forward to hearing more and seeing more DryGair solutions very soon in South Africa.
It's a great pleasure, and first of all, thank you very much for having us on. And I was sitting with a very, very big farmer yesterday, who's one of the biggest agricultural legends of this country. And growing produce today is a scientific experience. It's not like it was in the old days. You put something in the ground, you hope it grows, you sell it, and you see what you can earn. Today, in order to do agriculture properly, you have to employ every single technology that's available at your fingertips to make sure that your yields are perfect, that your returns are perfect. That's the only way to do it. If you don't do it that way, you're in trouble.
Right. Well, we're looking forward to seeing people doing that. Thank you very much for watching, everyone.